Hey guys, welcome to the Hey DJ Show. I'm your host, DJ Jimenez. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Also, you can catch this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And do consider following me on every social media platform. And with all that boring stuff out of the way, I'm really excited to introduce my next guest, Alyssa Donisi. Alyssa, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. I know it was like a little bit of a stretch just to get you here, but I mean,
Yep.
You're a mom, and not only are you a mom, you're a first-time mom.
I am. I'm so excited to be here. I missed you. I'm happy to see you face to face.
Yeah. When's the last time we saw each other? I want to say I remember us going out to pizza when I was dating, and it was you and Mike. We went out to that one pizza place. That's the last thing I remember.
Oh my gosh. No.
It was before
That
Olivia.
was a long time ago.
No,
but you
okay,
came over and
Thanksgiving.
babysat Olivia.
But
and
did
I saw
I
you
see you?
then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
never
she was
mind.
little.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, but I've known you for years. You're married to one of my best friends who I consider my brother, so that naturally makes you my sister-in-law.
Yep.
So this interview is gonna go awesome. All right, so Alyssa, I've known you for how long you and Mike been together?
Okay, we've been together for 7 years.
Okay, so I've known you roughly around 7 years.
Yep.
Okay, so and throughout those 7 years, I know that you've always wanted to be a mother and stuff. Like you were already a mother. What was it like? Okay, this is gonna be lame, but it's like that Friends episode where Chandler and Monica, they wanted to adopt, and he says to that one couple, is like, Monica, she's already a mother. She's a mother without a child, kind of thing.
So sweet.
So you were already a mother. So Alyssa, now you are a mom. You have a beautiful daughter, Olivia, my niece. So first question of the day, Olivia. Olivia, not yet.
I have a new name now.
Alyssa, what is it like being a mother now?
Oh, man. Okay. That's just such a question, right? Because what's it like being a mom? It's just, for me, it's just the greatest joy I've ever known. I don't really even know how to phrase it, but it's so satisfactory, and I'm obsessed with it. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of my daughter. She's the greatest, greatest little chunk I've ever met, and she's always been such a sweet little easygoing baby. She's just chill, and she sleeps really well, and I'm the luckiest woman in the world, and I know that, but I just am so appreciative, and I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. There's definitely some hard times that I've had, and that would be the same for any mom out there, but I can't get enough. I love it. I want more. Not right now, but I want more.
Nice. All right. No, that's awesome. Like, okay, so, this is just me prying a little bit. Okay, name already like kind of a bad moment. Like not a bad moment, but like a moment where you're just like, Urgh.
Okay, so the whole first month after I had a baby was a complete blur for me. Mm-hmm. There was just so many trying times that I didn't know what I'm doing, and I was thankful for Michael and my mom being there for me with all of my craziness, because after you have a baby, you have all these raging random hormones that just come out and you can't help it. Yeah. Like just start screaming and just start crying for no reason at all. And I was just in so much pain, and I just had a lot of extra healing I had to do that a lot of other people don't. And I had a hard time. I had a really hard time. I went through a little bit of, I think it was a little bit of depression after, which is normal. That happens to a lot of women. And it's something that people don't talk about, but it's perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's normal
Yeah.
because you have all these emotions and hormones you can't help. And I never ever like placed blame my baby and was upset with her. I was upset with me.
Mm-hmm.
And just had these trying times where I just didn't know what I was doing and how to react to things. And I know Michael could tell you that I was just a mess. He didn't know how to handle me. He's like, Jennifer, that's my mom's name. It's like, can you help with this? And my mom's like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. I know.
Oh man, dude, that's hilarious because, no, I'm glad you mentioned how, it's normal, it happens. There's a TV show called Scrubs. I don't know if you ever seen it.
I've not, but Michael told me to need to watch it.
It's a great show.
Okay.
And they have an episode dedicated to that, that depression after, what's it called?
Postpartum. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word earlier, but that's it.
Postpartum depression. They one of the characters, her name's Carla. She kind of goes through that, and I remember seeing a scene and then talking with an old coworker about it, about her baby wouldn't latch when she's trying to breastfeed. And then like she was like blaming herself about that. And I was like, is that real? And she was like, that's very real.
Yeah, it's real.
And that's some scary stuff. That's some stuff that, people don't think about. And I think people should know. And I'm glad you said like, no, listen, it's normal. God. You're just going through it. It's a huge life change.
That's one of the biggest things that like looking back on when I was pregnant and actually having the baby, that was the biggest thing that I wasn't really aware of because nobody talks about it, is how hard some random little things are that you're just ingrained in your brain is so easy. It was like, oh, you're going to breastfeed, you're going to bottle feed. Well, of course, I'm going to do the cheapest way, which would be breastfeeding. But then things happen and things don't work out that way. And that's okay. And it's just kind of accepting it. But I'm very thankful for the journey I've had and what a joy my sweet little baby is. But
all right.
There's a lot of stuff they don't tell you, and it's okay.
Yeah, no, okay. So kind of going along those tracks, I've interviewed 2 moms before you, and I was saying like, their thoughts on baby books. Do you guys have any?
That's a good question. So I have a baby book.
Okay.
I think I have opened 3 pages of it. It's not for me. So my sister is, other than my mom, she's the greatest mother that I know. She is such a super mom, especially one of my little nieces. She has diabetes and she's 1. It's just, oh my gosh, so much that she does. And she has a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And she, from the get-go, with her first daughter, both of them, she did this book called Moms on Call. And all these moms were telling me, you've got to do it. It's the best. So she gave me her book, and I don't like books. I wish I did. It's one of those things. I have all the Harry Potter books, and I went, I'm going to read you. And I read the first and went, the movie. Wait,
did you read the whole first book?
I read the whole first book. The second one I've been reading for like 5 months, and that's okay. But, so I started reading the book, and I'm like, but it's before I had the baby. And I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Every baby's different. Every baby's different. And I've gotten lucky that I haven't needed a book because she's easy. She's easy. She kind of just does her own thing. I never had a problem with bedtime for her. She went to bed. She sleeps through the night. I never had an issue with, I guess in the beginning I kind of did because she was brand new. But once she was like 4 months and older, she sleeps like 12 hours a night. She takes 2 really big naps, like sometimes 3 hours. Like she loves to sleep and she loves to eat. And I've just never had the random problems a lot of moms have with their babies, but no baby's the same. They're human beings. Like we're all different, There's no right way to parent a baby.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because I was saying that to Bethany, my first guest, about, and she was saying she has a stack of parenting book, and she, like to take, things into consideration. But I have a cousin, I liked what he said. It was years ago where he mentioned about, there's no real book on parenting, or because like, yes, there's these common sense things, but I guess, some people might argue it's like, it might not be common sense about like, if your kid has a fever, take them to the doctor. Don't let your kid eat this. They're not at this age and stuff like that. Mainly, I would say like mainly like medical stuff, I guess. But then in terms of like, what to do in terms of like, try to I don't know, from the top of my head, like, oh, if your baby's not sleeping well at night, try doing these several things. But again, it's
Oh,
like,
there's a lot out there.
yeah. And so I'm thinking, what might work for one might not work for the other.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what a parenting book is as well. Like, to be fair, they probably have a list of things. It's like, oh, if A doesn't work, try B. B doesn't work, try C.
Right.
But yeah, so I always wondered that, like, and talking with you and talking with several other people about, and it's funny how some people like that where, hey, I got a parenting book, I'm 3 pages in, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, screw this, I'm
Not
winging
for
it.
me.
And
That's
yeah,
okay.
and people end up fine. I don't know if my mom ever read a parenting book, and maybe that
I
says
don't think my
something.
mom
No, I'm
did
just
either.
kidding.
But I'm going to tell you something that I really did enjoy, and I still use it now. So there is an app when I was pregnant called What to Expect When You're Expecting. And it
Oh, like the
talks
movie.
about, yeah, which
I
I've actually never seen the movie. But anyways,
was an extra for that movie. Fun fact. It filmed here in Atlanta.
okay, now I have to see the movie.
I'm
No.
not in
Is
it.
it on
Like,
Netflix
I
or
watched
anything?
it
Can I
to see if
find
I'll
it? Do
see
you
it.
have it?
No, it was on Netflix,
Oh,
and I watched it for that. Like, oh hey, because I'm in like 2 scenes, and I was like, oh, am I gonna see myself?
oh, that's okay. No worries. Well, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to find you. But anyways, it's an app and it like tracks your pregnancy and stuff. Like, oh, this week the baby's the size of a lemon. This week the baby's the size of a grapefruit. All these random little things, and it's fun. And there was this little forum that I followed with like other moms that were on it too, and they're from all over the world.
Oh wow.
And it was from just the category was just July 2020 babies. So it's like all moms that were having a baby in July. So I still follow it now. So it's like these moms talk about random things that their babies are going through. And sometimes I can relate. And sometimes I look at it and go, glad it's not my baby. Glad that's not my drama. And some of them are really good drama anyways. Like, oh, during the political craziness that was going on.
Wow.
Oh, there was a lot of stuff like people like Trump. I'm like, oh my gosh, how dare you? And they'd be like, and I'm like, this is entertaining. It's just entertaining.
Just grab a popcorn. Just,
yes.
all right.
But it was good for like the first few months because, there are nights where Olivia would wake up in the middle of the night and I have to feed her and all this kind of stuff and figure out what I'm doing. And there's other moms that are going through the same thing and they're talking about it. Like, oh, my baby won't sleep through the night. And this other mom's like, me neither. This is what I do. This is what works for me. So it's to me, that was like my book.
I like that. Yeah, because you're getting actual people in real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And people that are just validating what you're going through, that's the best. That is the number one thing. If you're going through some crazy times, you want someone else to go through it too. Or at least for them to know what it's like. It just makes you feel better about it. So.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's really cool. Especially going with that community, not only on your phone, but it's nice, the fact that your mom and your sister, they're involved.
Yes.
And so, and like you said, they're both great moms. So you're just like, all right, hey, listen, you already have 2 kids. You had us. Like, I'm the first time mom. All right, what do I need to know? Tips and tricks. So really, you're reaping the rewards because like
big time.
Whatever mistakes your mom made, you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And whatever mistakes your sister did, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
It's
so you got a good team.
I do.
Plus Mike.
Plus Mike.
Shout out to you, Mike.
He's great too. No, he's wonderful.
No, I can't wait to have him on the show. And it's going to be funny with Father's Day, the compare and contrast where you're going to be like, oh man, yeah, it was a little bit stressful. And I can see Mike going, yeah,
I need to tell you something about Michael.
Yes.
No,
yes.
it's good. So
dang it. I don't want it.
So when I was pregnant, I told him, I was like, listen, your life is going to completely change when she's born. These days of napping every day and taking long baths and playing video games into the wee hours with Zachary all the time is going to change. You won't have that luxury anymore because you're going to have a baby who needs you, who's crying, and I'm going to need you. And that's still his life.
Yeah.
Every single
Oh,
day.
I hear Zach and Mike playing and I'm just like,
knock, knock.
When's your
all
life
the
changing?
time. I love my husband. He's the best. He's the greatest dad.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah, his life didn't change at all. He's still living that dream.
But but in a way, aren't you kind of glad because like it's like that old saying, the enemy that you know is better than the enemy you don't know, but except it's not an enemy. You rather like, okay, your old lifestyle was fine, and I don't want change because maybe it's a change for the bad. So maybe I don't know.
But he's such a good dad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's the best, and he's the best support system. Like if I'm like, honey, I need you to be here with me to help. He'd be there in a second. There'd be no. And he asked me, do you need help? You okay? You got it? And I'm like, I'm good. I got it.
Yeah.
Because I've got an easy baby. Like she goes to bed. She actually goes to bed later than most babies do. But she also sleeps in. I'm not a morning person. So anytime I can have her sleep in a little later, that's a win-win for me.
What time does she normally wake up?
Okay, wake up usually around 9 a.m., sometimes 10 a.m.
Not too bad.
No, it's the best. A lot of babies wake up at 6 a.m.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
But she also goes to bed at like between 8 and 9.
Okay.
So she goes to bed a little later, but that's just me. I'm a night owl, so
same,
it works for all of us in my family.
Yeah. So like that whole thing where, once you have a baby and those like 3 a.m. crying, did you guys go through that?
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody does. Yeah. But when she was a newborn, I considered her a newborn until she was 3 months. So like there's no actual like schedule you can put a baby on, and she doesn't know her own schedule. She can't make one for herself when she's that little. She just has to be fed. The doctor tells you like every 3 hours. That was the most stressful part for me, is trying to figure out when to feed her and how much to feed her. Because they're like, you can only feed her this much in this amount of time. And I'm like, but she's hungry. She wants more. And the advice I got from the advice I got from the hospital was the worst advice for me.
Oh wow.
Sorry. I don't like
drop them.
I don't like schedules. I don't do well with schedules.
Yeah.
I'm just not that kind of person. I'm very good with the flow.
Yeah.
I like doing my own thing as it comes. That's just the kind of person I am. And Michael's that way too. So we're both like, okay, my mom is the same way. So she was even like, Alyssa, when she's hungry, just feed her. Does it have to be every 3 hours? If she's hungry, feed her, and then feed her till she's full. And I'm like, it just makes so much sense. Why didn't the doctor tell me that at the hospital? She was like, every 3 hours has to be this amount. Don't feed her more than she's supposed to. And I'm like, what does that even mean? They have to say that. I don't understand. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And you're so new with this. Like I told you before, hormones, like just things are, it's just all crazy. Yeah. And so you like just feel like you're just constantly judging yourself because you're like, I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it right because, well, guess what? There's no right way to do it. Like my baby was progressing. She was healthy. She's growing. You've seen her. She's a chunk. Like she's always been a chunk. Adorable. Born at 8 pounds, 8 ounces, and she never lost weight. She's always gained it. And apparently most babies, when they come home from the hospital, they lose like half of their... No, I don't know how much it is, but it's a good amount that they lose. Weight? They lose weight. I didn't know that. Until, I think it's like the first 2 weeks they lose weight.
Oh, wow.
But not with her. She just kept gaining it. So when I
That's
found,
healthy, right?
Luckily for me, yes. I found a great pediatrician who agreed with me. So that was big for me. She was just like, listen, I'm the same way as you. Feed the baby when she's hungry. Feed her till she's full. She starts crying. Obviously, feed her again. Even if that means it's an hour from then. Just feed her to make her happy. And I'm like, yay.
Oh, I'm so glad you said
that.
Here's the number to the hospital and the doctor that told me an opposite. I need you to call.
I can never eat like every 3 hours and be like, oh, I can only eat this much of this food. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. So.
Already you're going to start your baby off in meal prep, portion control and all that stuff. It's all like, no, today is weight day, like.
No, it's not.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, so speaking of Olivia, I do know a little bit about this, but I want you to share on the show. How did you guys come up with the name Olivia?
Ooh, okay. So I had quite a few girl names in mind. My favorite one was Charlotte, and call her Charlie for short. Michael hated the idea of having a boy name for a girl. Like, did not like the name Charlie. Just couldn't do it. And Charlotte wasn't for him. And I'm like, okay, we got to come up with another one. I literally typed in top 100 girl names. Olivia was number 1. And I said, Olivia. He goes, oh, I like that. I went, oh, me too. That was it.
And then that was it? That was it. I saw this video. I don't know if
all right, that's
done. They're done. Did you guys try to come up with boy names as well before you knew the sex of the baby, or did you wait till you found out?
We had our boy name before. I was obsessed with the name Lucas and calling him Luke, like little Lukey for short. And it's because my mom used to work at a daycare center. It was just a little boy named Lucas, and he went by Lukey. And I was that little boy was the cutest little thing. I was obsessed with him, and I loved the name Luke. I just loved it, Lucas. I loved One Tree Hill, and there was a Lucas on there.
I see. I'm thinking of Luke Skywalker.
That's okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Luke Skywalker. Fair enough. But either way, I just like that name. It's a good name. Yeah. And as the pregnancy was going and before we knew what the gender was, Michael was like, I don't like the name Lucas anymore.
What?
And I was like, oh, I hope we have a girl. And I was like, okay.
It's like he had a bad experience with a student. Do you have a backup?
And he's like, I don't remember what he said, Sawyer. And I was like, oh, I mean, that's a cool name, but like Sawyer. I don't know. What about Lucas? My heart was set on it. So now I'm still like, Lucas? And he's like, I'm like, Lucas, just like Lucas, but I don't know. But Olivia was easy. The hardest part was the middle name.
Oh, what's her middle name?
Her middle name is Marie.
Okay.
So I love the idea of a middle name being sentimental, like somebody in the family. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother, my mom's mom. She's the last living one of all of the grandmothers, like for Michael's family and mine. And she's already been taken. My sister chose her middle name for Lila Bell, and she chose. That's her first name, and her middle name is Katie, and so my middle name's Kate, and she also named Sadie, her second child, Sadie Kate. So I'm like, well, my grandmother is good. She's taken care of, but of course she's got these great little middle names options. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, Jennifer, my mom is too long of a name. Her name's already so long, Olivia. I'm like, I can't do Olivia Jennifer. I can't do Olivia Kimberly. And I was like, what about Olivia Kim? And Michael's like, it just sounds so Chinese. I'm sorry. That's what he said. And I was like, I mean, it kind of does, but like, that's okay. It's so pretty. And I'm like, and then we were taking a walk. And I was like, what is your grandmother's name? He's like, Marianella. And I was like, Marie, Olivia Marie. I like it. He's like, I like it too. And then, funny enough, there's a show called Outdaughtered. Probably never heard of it. It's on TLC. It's about this mom who had 6 baby girls. 5 baby girls all at once. Wow. Like crazy. Can't even imagine going through that. 1 is hard enough, but 5. And one of them,
at the same time?
At the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And one of them is named Olivia. And I didn't realize her name's Olivia Marie Busby.
Wow.
And I was like, oh.
There you go.
There it is. It's normal.
When she grows up, Mom, who was I named after? Oh, let me show you the show.
Yeah, this one here. I didn't even realize it. It was
no sentimental.
I didn't even know.
Oh, man. So, wait, real quick. So now that's how Olivia was named. Do you know how you were named?
Yes, I do.
Let me hear it.
Okay. Mine's not as good as your story, though. I already know your story about the dead guy in the grave.
Like, my mom called me up and was like, that's not how you were named. And I was like, what did I get wrong in the story? She was like, it was me and your dad at the graveyard, not the family. And I was like, oh, so yeah, the graveyard.
I love it. I think it's the funniest thing. And the fact that you hate your name just makes it even better.
I think it's funny. I like it. But I do prefer DJ and with the show's name, but I like the story.
We're going to pretend like that dead guy was just really cool.
Yeah,
he did a lot for the world.
Right?
We'll just pretend like he was.
I gotta do history on that guy, research.
You gotta look him up. But for me, my mom wanted to name me Allison, and my dad wanted to name me Melissa. Alyssa.
Hey, there we go.
I love that little story. It's fun. And growing up, I did not like my name because nobody was named Alyssa.
Really?
I love it now. There's so many Alyssas out there, but there weren't when I was growing up. And they actually, my mom told my grandmother, she's like, Alyssa, and she started crying almost. She's like, that's not a name. And she's like, well, there's this actress named Alyssa Milano. It's out there. It is a real name. And she was like, that's awful. And then she ended up being like, oh, Alyssa's a beautiful name after I was born and, everything. But I was so mad that my mom didn't win the argument and I wasn't Allison. No, it's not funny. But I wanted to be Allison so bad so I could go by Allie and then I could be cool. Because I was never popular in high school or middle school. And I was like, the reason why is because my name.
It's because of my name.
Nothing else. It's because you can't shorten Alyssa. What do you call me? Liz? Like, no, that's not cool. I wanted to be Allie.
Yeah. If I can shorten somebody's name, I will. But Alyssa is pretty short.
And Olivia's going to have the most common name in the entire world growing up. And I'm so sorry to my daughter for that. But, you know, we call her Lulu. I don't think she's going to want to go by Lulu when she's older.
That's a cute nickname.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Michael calls her Olive.
Oh, I was thinking Olive, yeah.
No.
I mean, I will say Lulu's better. Lulu's better. I'm just saying, yeah.
No,
I can see
it's
Olive.
cute when he calls her Olive. I just could never call her Olive because I like to eat olives. It just doesn't work for me, but it's cute. Italian olive, you know.
Did you guys ever had a moment where you wanted to be super original and create your own name?
Absolutely not.
No.
I'm not that person.
You don't want to be one
I think
of the
they're
celebrities
cool.
And like
No. Yeah, Apple.
Right? What's Kanye's? Northwest. Oh my god.
Here's the thing about those kids though. They're gonna grow up with money and fame and they're never gonna have an issue in the world. It doesn't matter what their name is. Because everyone's gonna be their friend.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, what that one is?
Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy, yeah. That's
like
why?
at least give them a good middle name, like Ivy. Maybe she can go by Ivy, but like it's not for me. I couldn't do it. I'm not cool enough for that. I told you my name's Alyssa. I can't do it. If I was an Allie, I might be able to go for it.
I saw this video on Facebook years ago. I was mentioning at one of the other interviews where I want to do this, like whoever I end up with. I want to do this just for fun. Is like grab a dartboard and put a bunch of names.
Okay.
Blue strip for boys, pink strip for girls.
Right.
Put on a dartboard.
What are your options? What are your names on there so far? What do you got?
I got nothing. I mean, I'm just saying that like when I'm with somebody and it's time to like, hey, let's start picking out names. Let's pick out all the names we like. Let's try to make it even, like 10 boys, 10 girls, put it on the board before we know the sex of the baby. And then we just hit till we get one boy and one girl name. And then
are you good at darts?
I'm decent.
Okay. So like don't make holes all over the wall.
No, I'm pretty decent. I've gotten several bullseye in my life.
Okay. All right, flexing. I see.
Nah. Like, what about you? You good at dart?
No, but I think in our new home that we're moving into, I think there's a dartboard in there.
Already?
Yeah.
Really? That's
Do you know anything about our new home we're moving into? They're leaving us a pool table. Right. There's a basement. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you knew. I saw the man cave. Yeah. It's all in wood paneling. It is as man cave as it possibly gets.
That's awesome.
But there's a dartboard on the wall. I don't know if the sellers are going to take it with them. But if not, then you can practice your darts at our house.
There we go. I saw pictures of it, but when I saw it, I just assumed like, oh, it'll be empty.
Yeah, Well, most of it is. There's not all that furniture in there anymore, but the dartboard was still there.
Okay, well, if they leave it, I'll play with it. Yeah. Are you raising Olivia the way your parents raised you, or like are there things where, you know, not like in a necessarily a bad way, but things where you're just like, you know, I could do without that. I see the point, but I think this will be better, or no, this is timeless. I'm definitely
I would say if I raise my daughter anything like my mom raised me, then I did it right.
Yeah.
Like my mom, such a rock star. And my mom, I'm so lucky too because my mom takes care of Olivia. She's with her right now. She takes care of her like 4 days a week because I work full time and I can't always be there with her. And I'm so lucky that my mom's there with her throughout the day. And, you know, Michael gets her at night too, but I don't have to worry about putting her in a daycare or anything like that. Like I know she's being in the, like, other than my husband, she's in the best hands she possibly could be in. Mm-hmm. Same would go for, I look a lot at my sister, what she does, because she's such an inspiration to me. She is just like my favorite person in the world. I'm just obsessed with her. But she's such a rock star. Like I told you before, she's got a daughter with diabetes. Like there's so much that she does throughout the day. And she has so much mental strength that I just look up to. There's so many trying times that I know she's had in her life, but she doesn't let anyone see it. Like she She's a rock star.
Yeah, no, I met your sister. She's one tough chick.
She is. She's incredible.
I tried to say
and
chick and gal at the same time. It was weird.
You what?
I
you said you checked her out at the same time?
No, no. I try to say chick and gal. I try to say she's one tough gal. I thought you were calling her hot. I'm like, yeah, she is. And I got tongue twisted and I said like child, and I was like, she's one tough chick.
Got it.
That's what I meant to say. I can't talk to her.
That's really funny.
I just
like, okay, you were checking her out. Okay.
No, awkward.
I could see it.
Why are you destroying my show already? It's gonna get canceled.
No, nobody do that. It's too good. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yes, I look up to the way my mom raised me and the way my sister is doing it, and I just have the best support system around me. And Olivia's still so young. She's 10 months, so she'll be 10 months on Sunday. So there's still so many things that I'm trying to figure out with her, and she doesn't even know how to she can't walk yet. She doesn't know how to say a lot of words. She doesn't know things yet. So there's not a lot of wisdom I'm giving her at this moment. It's more of like survival mode, like trying to keep her from putting things in her mouth and swallowing nails and whatever might be else be on the floor.
Is she crawling now? Okay.
Yeah, she's crawling.
Yeah. How well is she?
She's on the move if I let her. Nice. We have a little playpen that we put her in, so we can put her down and get other things done, and we don't have to worry about her getting into everything. But she would if she could.
Yeah.
She would if she could.
That's awesome. But what are some things where okay, yeah, you can't really do much of teaching yet, but what's something you're definitely gonna teach Olivia where something timeless that you learned from your mom that you're just like, people should know this. And for the audience.
That's a good question.
I do try my best.
I gotta think about that. I gotta get really inside my brain here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got this hosting thing kind of down.
I will tell you, my mom did a really good job when I was growing up of like finding the right balance with being my mom and being my friend.
Okay.
And it led to such a great relationship we've always had. We've never hit any crazy bumps in the road. God forbid we ever will. But
yeah, but you're kind of awkward now.
Well, yeah, I agree. Especially I'm like, I need you, Mom. But growing up and being a teenager, it's hard. And I'm nervous about what's going to happen with Olivia because teenage girls, my sister was a hard one, apparently. She was a hard one to raise. Yes, I was easy. So I'm hoping Olivia's going to be like me. I always stayed out of trouble.
Your sister was the rebellious type?
Well, she wasn't even rebellious. It was more like she was just weird.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't expect that.
I'm so sorry, Kim. So she was just so weird. I
gotta have her on the show now. So
you got it. Now, of course, and you checked her out.
Yeah,
so
Alyssa
you gotta.
was actually the weird one.
She probably will. But okay, so apparently she had this whole thing when she was like 13. She would come home and tell my mom, everything I don't tell you tonight, I'll tell you tomorrow. Mom's like, okay. All right, sure, I'm here. Okay. And then she'd have days where she just would come home and she would like cry about nothing. And she's like, blah, 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 like all the drama of her life, and just unloaded it all on my mom. She was such a psychologist and psychiatrist and everything you could think of. Therapist. That's, everything for her. And my sister turned out to be such a rock star. So I'm just like, if you can do it with this weird child, who knows what I'm going to have. I will definitely look to you for so much advice. But there is a fine line between, discipline and parenting and actually getting them to like want to talk to you about things. That's going to be the hardest part for me, is like finding that balance between the two. Because I remember like I've had some bad relationships in my life. Luckily not now. But I didn't want to talk to my mom about that kind of stuff because I didn't want her to not like the person. So there was so much I was going through, but wouldn't actually share it because I didn't want her to know that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want Olivia to like know that I will never judge her, and that I'm sure I would have a hard time wanting to like the guy that she's with if he's treating her horribly, but I want her to tell me about it so I can inflict some wisdom on it. Because I'm sure if I told my mom about all the awful stuff I went through in a past relationship of mine, I would have exited years before I did.
Wouldn't you want, like, here, fast forward now, Olivia's at the appropriate age where she's, talking to guys. Wouldn't you want her to come up to you and tell you not only obviously the bad stuff, like, hey mom, I kind of need some advice, but also the good stuff, like,
of course. Yeah. I want to be the person that she would come to for anything, and that's gonna be the hardest part for me, because I know what a fine line it is between the two.
But see, you're with Mike's one of the best guys ever, so I think you guys are gonna have like that great balance where if she comes up to you with like guy troubles and stuff, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. I feel like, it's a cliche thing, but it's a real thing. It's like, listen, I was at your shoes. Mm-hmm. Look at Mike. Look at your father. You need to be with somebody like that. Mm-hmm. That's how you pick them. If you don't feel the way I felt about him, then there's your answer.
Yep. It's like you gotta roll with the bad ones to find the good ones.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but
it sucks. You got to know what
the way
bad
it works,
is,
because it makes you appreciate what you have more. Mm-hmm. It makes you realize what you want when you're in a bad relationship. So, yeah, I'm hopeful that she'll come to me with anything, and I'll be all the good advice for her with all the craziness of my life.
Oh man, on a random thing, this just popped into my head. What is something besides teenage years? What is something you're not looking forward to? Like, oh man, you're gonna let Mike do all that?
Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna let Mike do with a girl.
I would say something like driving.
If I had a boy,
yeah.
Oh yeah, driving, I guess. If I had a boy, it'd be like, oh, honey, you're gonna have the sex talk. Like, it ain't gonna be me. But I would not have Michael have that talk with her. Like, that will be no. So, it has to be the mom, there's something I'm not looking forward to that. But like, there's some things that I know it's gonna be the mom that needs to have a conversation with her. But you're right, driving. My mom didn't teach me how to drive. She's so patient, and it's so funny with that, because she's not patient when it comes to teaching how to drive, because I was not a good driver.
Yeah. No, my parents didn't teach me. My dad, love you, Dad, but he's the worst teacher. Like, and he loves driving.
Is that why you hit my car?
I knew you were gonna bring that.
You knew it. We're talking about driving. What do you expect?
Oh man, no, my dad's a great driver, but he's just a bad teacher at it. Okay. Again, love you, Dad, but I learned from other people and friends and stuff.
My dad taught me how to drive, and my mom was a much better driver than my dad. So that's funny, because she couldn't do it. My dad's so patient. Oh my gosh, more than enough time to help me with anything I needed. But he likes to follow too closely to people. And so did I. And I got into, But before, I got into like fender benders myself, back to back within 1 week.
Oh no.
Luckily, only one of them was like an issue. That was like, the police were called, all that kind of stuff. The other one, the lady didn't even get my information. She just kind of drove on. It was dark, and she felt like it was dangerous for the two of us women to be out with nobody around us. She's like, let's just go. And I was like, okay. Sure. I was like 20. I mean, I was so young. And then I did it again, and I was like, oh, no.
You know what? Driving isn't for me.
And I was crying because I got a ticket for something else too that was like, don't ever do this. If you ever take a day and don't pay for your car insurance, you get a horrible report on you. And if you get pulled over, they show that you had a lap in your insurance, even if you are still paying for it now, like even a day, you have to go to the DMV and pay a fine. If you don't do that, you have a report on you. And the officer was like, I could arrest you. I was 20 years old, and I was already crying for getting pulled over and being in an accident. He's like, I could arrest you. And I'm like,
are you going to? Why bring this up?
So let me say, that was a nice wake-up call. I've never done it again. So I'm a very cautious driver. But Michael's a great driver. I think he's better than me. Yeah. And a lot of women don't admit that. But my husband is a better driver than me. And I will admit that to the day I die, because that means he'll drive me all the time. Yeah. Sorry, honey. I mean, but taking long trips and stuff, he volunteers to drive. And I'm like, all right, works for
me. There you go. Yeah, no, you need those wake up moments. I needed that wake up moment, especially when I bumped into you, to be like, all right, you know what? Stay away from people.
Ooh.
Be a better driver.
I have a good one.
What's up?
If Olivia has any like science fair projects, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a math and science guy, so easy. Mom, I don't know this math problem. Why are you asking me? No. That's your dad.
Here's a funny one because I kind of know a little bit about you two, so this is a little tease.
I know.
Olivia wants to learn how to cook. Who's she going to?
Shut your mouth. You. We're going to send her to you. No, we're going to send her to her mother-in-law. Hello, Tammy.
Yeah, no. Mrs. Donisi, great cook. Yeah.
Wow. My mom's a good cook too. She just doesn't choose to do it a lot. And to tell you the truth, I'm becoming a better cook.
Oh, wow.
I know. I make a good French toast, but I just
people are surprised. French toasts are not that easy to make, kind of. Like at first.
Maybe the one I'm making is too easy because
people don't think about using eggs. Like
why would people not use an egg?
No, some people don't. It blows my mind. It's like, there's eggs in French toast. What? No, there's not. It's like it's only like cinnamon and butter and stuff. It's like
okay, no.
Yeah, some people don't know.
No, Google tells me a lot of recipes.
Yeah. No, my mom. I always said my mom and YouTube, the two best teachers to learn how to cook.
Fair enough. I'm gonna have to get the recipe for the biscuits and the chocolate sauce.
Yeah, I told Mrs. Linear, I was like, I'll buy the supplies.
It sounds intriguing.
Have you ever had it?
No.
Oh my God.
It sounds so intriguing.
Like I wanna learn that and master that. Oh my God, it's so good. When I have kids, I will raise them on that as well. I told her I want to be able to pass that down. Like and then Zach made it seem like it was hard. He said he tried it one time and then messed up, and which made me kind of scared. It's like, oh, is it hard? But now I'm decent, so like I think I can do well, and then practice at it. But I told her I'll buy the supplies. You just teach me how to do it.
Your salmon's really good, but that mac and cheese you made.
Yeah, no, it needs work.
You dropped the ball.
The one time in Florida, I did it well. Remember that?
That's why you were given the task at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving with all the people there to bring the famous mac and cheese.
I don't know what. I kind of know what I did wrong, and now I'm glad I did it wrong in a way. I try to see the bright side of things because now it lets me know, okay, that's why you don't do that. What I did was I prepped it the day before, and then I did half the ingredients the day before, and then the other half the day of.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that. When I was at Florida with you guys, I did it all there.
Yeah, you did.
It was so much better.
And salmon?
The salmon, I'm proud of that one. Yeah.
I make some good salmon too.
The lemon butter sauce.
Salmon too. I make a lemon butter sauce too.
Hey, we got to compete.
Yeah. Let's do it. I love it.
Oh man, I'm excited. Okay, this question I'm really excited to ask you because no offense to my last two moms, but like, I mean, they made great points, but I think your answer is going to be a little bit different.
Imagine with anyone's answer,
right? What is something from Hollywood, shown from Hollywood, a movie, a TV show that gets close? It's real.
I knew you were going to ask me this question.
I'm asking all the moms.
I need to watch What to Expect When You're Expecting now, because maybe there's something in there. But I don't have a very good perspective yet because I've only done this for 10 months.
No, see, I say on the contrary, I think you have a good perspective because you've seen a lot of movies before you're a mom, and now you've seen some now that you are a mom. So what's something that maybe like an episode of Friends where now you're watching it and you're like, oh wow, I didn't get that when I wasn't a mom. Now I get it. Is there anything? Maybe the closest.
It's more of pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's more pregnancy.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because you watch these Hollywood shows. Like, we'll take Friends, for example. Rachel, we know she has a baby on the show.
Mm-hmm. Spoilers.
And how gorgeous Jennifer Aniston is throughout. Mm-hmm. But it's obvious that she was not pregnant because you don't just get a bump. I mean, some women do. They're lucky enough to just get a beach bump there. No, she did not look like she was pregnant at all. No swollen feet. I mean, nothing else of hers gained weight. There's just so many more things to it. And it's just like, I look at it and I'm like, and then the whole scene of her actually delivering a baby, ridiculous. They always show the women in there for like 10 minutes. They're crying and they're pushing on a baby and they're screaming. And that's all accurate. But then there's a lot more to it than that. The one part where Jennifer or Rachel is waiting forever to have her baby, that was what my story was. It took forever. And some women, you know, go in right away, but everyone's different.
Yeah.
But the way that they always react, the baby is just born and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, it's beautiful. And it's a 3-month baby already placed right on top of them. Like there's no wrinkles. There's no blood all over the baby. Like,
I
there's
mean,
so many
can you
things
imagine the
that
casting for that?
I know. I get it. Hollywood make it really difficult to do that. Like, you're not going to find a brand new baby just put out in the
We
world.
need a brand new baby, preferably something.
I know that. But it's
1
also
week
like,
old.
but it's things you don't expect when you have your own baby. Like, I knew she would be, you know, looking like a newborn baby, but Michael was even like, she's so swollen. Well, that's normal. That's normal. I didn't know anything about that, but her lips were like Angelina Jolie's when she was first born.
Oh,
not anymore. Not anymore. And just like, so, I mean, she's always been chunky, but it was like really chunky. And that's just how it works. And super wrinkly, like their fingers are, it's like you've been in the bath forever and then you get out. That's what a baby's like.
Yeah.
Super wrinkly. But there's so many things that just Hollywood doesn't show you.
Yeah.
I
don't think they can. Like,
they can't. I know.
Bethany, the first person I interviewed, she put it really well. She said that, you know, there's just so much to being a mom that Hollywood can't capture it in 30 minutes to an hour.
Right.
And that's true. I can see that.
Of course.
It's a challenge. Now I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do something.
Right.
It'd be like, that's my goal, is to get women to be like 90% accurate. As long as I get a 90 or above, I'm good. Right.
There's this movie I did watch called Tully. I don't know if you've seen that, with Charlize Theron.
Sounds familiar.
Well, it's about postpartum depression. It goes really deep. It's like really, really bad. It was a really depressing movie, but a lot of it did kind of hit in a way that I was like, oh, I can relate to that, because I did go through that a little bit. But it was taken to such an extreme that she should have been like hospitalized. Like, she shouldn't have had her baby. Like, spoiler for this movie, she like ends up making friends with this lady and has like a relationship with her, and I don't know what she's doing with that woman, and then like she leaves and goes to a bar and all this kind of stuff, and the woman was her in perspective. It's kind of like Fight Club. Sorry, spoiler for Fight Club, where it's the same person, but
okay,
you think
if you're
it's
spoiled from Fight Club at this time,
I know, but I didn't know the spoiler. I watched that movie like months ago and I had no idea what the spoiler was. So it can happen. There are people out there who don't know the spoiler for Fight Club, and somehow I didn't know. But I'm just like, the fact that she would like leave her baby and go out and not, she's like so depressed being around her baby. I don't know. There's just so many things that Hollywood just kind of, you know, builds up more and more that are just not relatable.
Yeah. And then I feel like
days, but
it'll probably be too boring at the same time. It's like, it's a lot of, you know, just, I don't know, caregiving in a way where it's like, can't make a story from here. Maybe. And
they all like to show like moms all dressed up when they're at home with their babies. No. That's just for Hollywood. So the actresses look better. I'm sure in their contract they're like, excuse me, I am not going to be without makeup and my hair up in a bun, but no, and have spit up all over me. But that's normal.
No, good. That honestly, if I get to the point where I'm able to produce something like, I so would. It's like, no makeup, just camera makeup for the lights. But
your hair needs to be looking like you haven't showered in days, which you don't. And you have to have food all over you, like your own food that you're eating, and your baby spit up and poop. And it sounds gross, but that all normal.
Yeah.
All normal.
Yeah. Man,
it's okay.
Going to the baby spit up, I'll when I was babysitting Olivia, Mike did a great job of telling me, you know, what to do and all that stuff. And then he was like, I'm going to go take a nap. And so I fed Olivia. And then, you know, after the feeding, you know, you got to burp them. I'm not going to lie, that I know this now. Whoever I end up with when we have kids, no, you're doing all the burping. I'm not doing the burping because that scared me. I didn't want to hurt her, so I was like, oh, how much
Oh.
do you have to like pat? And I was like, come on, and she wasn't burping.
Uh-huh.
And then like Mike said, if you don't burp them, they'll spit up. And I was like trying, and I was like, I don't want to hurt you. And then she ended up spitting up, and I was just like,
Oh, she
you know
still
what?
spit
That's
up.
fine. I rather that because I don't want to hurt you. Uh, but yeah, and then when I told Mike about it, and then later in the day he fed her, and then he just like cupped his hand and did it nice and stuff, and I'm just like, man, how do you
No,
do
Michael
that?
was the same way. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, it
Okay.
scared me. I
It's
was just like, oh, I don't
so
want to do that.
but the phrase they call maternal instinct, it's real. It's
Yeah.
real. At least it was for me.
Yeah.
I already knew how to change a diaper anyways because I have a niece and my mom took care of babies in a baby room for like 2 years at a daycare right down the street. And I would go there all the time. So I helped her with things. Like I knew how to do these basic, keeping a baby alive type things. But Michael had never changed a diaper before.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so tiny, like she's so little, and she still has the umbilical cord in there. So it's like you have to be careful and fold down. And, we had some really good nurses, but then we had some really bad ones.
Oh no.
And some of them were super just like, you don't know how to do this. And like made us feel like we're bad people. And I wasn't feeling very well. I was still like healing and I couldn't get up from the bed. And so Michael had to take care of Olivia for a lot of things. We were lucky to be able to still send her to the nursery. Due to COVID, a lot of babies weren't able to go to nursery at all. But because I had complications after pregnancy, she got in there right away. So they would just kind of take her back and forth. But when she was with us, Michael was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I do know what to do, but I can't help you.
Yeah.
And he did a great job. He learned right away. And then, but the first time he changed a poop, I think it was like a month in, he would always be like, you. And it's funny because we agreed before we had the baby, we make plans about what you're going to do when the baby's born. And I was like, okay, so I handle the top, you handle the bottom. Because I got to feed her, and you can handle what comes out that way. It was never like that.
It's like fair trade.
But I was just so obsessed with her. I didn't care. Like, when it's your own child, poop does not matter. It doesn't. Like, you're like immune to it. It phases you. I mean, it definitely has a smell, and it's not lovely, but you don't care anymore. It's your baby. So there was just some hiccups along the way, but he mastered it and did fine. But I think that's just a men's perspective going into it completely.
I could see that. And I know that eventually I'll get over it. But yeah, I just know that's a very real thing. And to any guys listening that are not fathers yet, you will feel that fear. I don't care how tough you are. When you hold that baby and it's time to burp them, you don't want to hurt them. You just don't.
You don't.
Like,
no, of course not. But you don't hit them hard. You just kind of pat them.
Man, still that scared me. Listen, I'm not a big dude, but I can throw a good punch. But I was just like, so I know resting and I know how to hit hard. Sometimes I feel like I don't know my own strength. So I was just like, is this too much? Oh, that's too much. And
see, I think you got Olivia when she was like 4 months. I think it was like 4.
Somewhere around there. 4,
she was
6.
a big girl. She could have held her own. You'd been fine.
I was just like,
you would have been.
it was one of
kidding.
those things where Mike didn't tell me, and I don't blame him for not telling me because he probably saw it as passing, and so. But when I held her and it was time for that, it clicked in. I was just like, what's too little, what's too hard? I don't,
right.
How do you do it?
What's the right way?
Yeah, what's the right way? And
guess what? That's parenting. What's the right way? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I was just. It's a very
the right
real
answer
thing,
for
and
you.
it was a cool feeling / very what's that word? Kind of just parental nurturing feeling is, and the fact that I'm just the uncle. I'm just but I was like, yeah, just that little thing is a very real thing. And I mean, I can go on and on, but yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like, no one can really prepare you for it. Now that I'm saying it, people might look out for it, but until you actually experience it, then you'll know what I'm talking about when you hold that baby and you're just like, yeah, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to go too hard or too soft.
It's funny too because so before I had the baby, I was trying to do all sorts of research because we were in quarantine, right? Yay 2020. But I had a lot of time to just kind of research what I was going to do when I had a baby, like really prepare myself.
Yeah.
I had all this extra time in my hands. So I went into a YouTube rabbit hole and I wanted Michael to join me along on my journey. I was mad at him for not joining me on my journey. Hormones again. He did nothing wrong. Hormones again. So I was like, you need to watch at least this one video. And it was this man talking about tips for being a new dad and like what your wife is going to go through, or, you know, the woman you're with, what she's going to go through and how you can handle it. And I was like, you watch this video. And it was like, he went into detail about things. And Michael was like, I didn't know about that. I was like, I didn't either. And he was like, that sounds gross. I'm like, I know. I don't know about this video. I don't know what we're watching. And
but did it help?
Now, the one thing I actually remember from it is he said, absolutely make sure that you cut the umbilical cord. Like, you're going to feel so good about it. It's going to feel so rewarding.
They don't do it once.
So they give the dad the scissors for him to cut. And I didn't see any of this because I was I holding the baby? No, everything happened at the same time. Like, and Michael freaked out. He was like, she's so little. I don't want to hurt her. He couldn't touch him. He couldn't even touch the scissors. He was like, you do it. I don't want to hurt her. And apparently that's a normal reaction for men because it's not like you just cut it. It's like a tissue. You have to really like gnaw at it. But it doesn't hurt the baby.
Yeah, no.
But how scary. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. And then it's like, okay.
I'm glad you brought this up because, again, it's one of those things that maybe no one tells you about.
But it's in your head. You probably think the men cut the umbilical cord. Like, dad does that. That's a thing.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but the thing is harder than it seems. And so he told me about it. I was like, oh, that's understandable. You didn't need to cut it. I mean, just do whatever you feel like you want to do. I don't think he has any regrets about cutting the umbilical cord, but you can ask him when he comes on the show.
I'll make sure to do that. Oh, man, that's funny because I'm trying to think from, again, the only information I have is like through Hollywood and stuff.
Right.
But I'm trying to remember if it's the dad that cuts it. I kind of just, if somebody told me, I feel like I would have said that or just the doctors. Like, it's not a big deal. It's like, maybe the doctors will say, oh, do you want to, like in passing? I don't know. But then at the same time, I would think that, oh, it's just one cut and they're done.
One thing he did say in his video too that was really good was, like, listen to your wife, be there for her, but don't take anything she says personally. Because I'm sure I attacked him in all sorts of different ways. I just don't, like I said, that first month after having a baby was such a blur. And during my labor, and I was in labor for like almost 2 full days. It was just.
Okay, so pause right there. Like, what? I always hear that term. All right, so here's what. Again, ignorant me.
No, it's okay. It's not just you. We took like a labor and delivery class because I don't know what any of this means.
Okay.
My sister had the easiest labor and delivery.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, well, what if mine's not like that? And my mom had a baby so long ago, and like everything is different now. I'm just like, I need help. So I was like, we took a class, and we had the class literally like like 3 weeks before I gave birth.
Oh,
it was
okay.
huge.
Wow.
I was out to here, and all the other women in the class were like, they still had like 3 months to go. And I'm like, I give birth in like a week. And they're like, oh my God, what if you don't make it to, there's 2 classes. What if you don't make it to the next class? Like, then I did the job. I did the labor and delivery. It was good. The class was it was definitely informative, but it was like.
But how often was it a week?
It was just an hour for 2 sessions.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It was like teaching you when you're in labor to like different positions you can be in to alleviate pain in different ways. And one of the things is it was at the hospital. It was like through the hospital I was giving birth in. So I had a lot of questions about like, what do I bring with me? What's it like with COVID? Like, there's so many different things that people can't tell you a year ago about, like, advice wise. It's just so different. And it was just ever changing. So she was like, there are a lot of times you'll see people on this big ball that they're sitting on. Like a weight, like a
medicine ball.
No, it's a medicine ball. Yeah, like a medicine ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, those are cool. Usually those are provided by the hospital. And then she gave us the advice: bring your own because they'll charge you $100 if you use one. If you use theirs, because of COVID, they have to give it to you. You can't just borrow it.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, but they won't tell you that. So I was like, oh. So we bought our own from Amazon for like $12. I used it for like no time at all, but I was still thankful for it that I had it. But just so that class was good just for getting all the random information that we got. But it was scary. It's like, I mean, it's easier for the man than it is for the woman because we know we got.
Oh, wait, what?
You know.
Really? Huh.
but Michael was so supportive and he just wanted to help me any way he could. And he could see in my face that I'm like, what's happening? So there's 2 ways to get a baby out. I don't like either way. I don't like either way. And he's like holding my hand and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. But I have to. And it was nice for him to kind of know what it was going to be like. And he was just so supportive and could not say enough amazing things about me. Like right after delivery and while I was pregnant, and just showered me with every kind of compliment that I could have, because I mean I delivered our baby, so
good. Yeah,
no
I mean, small feat,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, not to say I want to toot my own horn, but you know,
yeah, no, he told us a little bit about it when no, you're fine. We were hanging out one day and he was telling Zach and I, you know, the stuff that you went through and what he went through, being right next to you, and I was just like, dang, man, like Alyssa's a fighter, you know.
That was scary. I lost a lot of blood. It was scary.
Yeah.
Like apparently if I had a baby like back in the olden days before they had help for all this kind of stuff, I would have died.
Yeah.
I'm one of those women that died due to childbirth complications, and that's just terrifying.
No, thank God, dude. That
I'm still here.
At the this time.
Yeah.
No. Oh man. Yeah. You know, he's gonna get mad when I say this. It takes a lot for that dude, you know, to break down. And he was telling me, he was like, dude, like I thought I was gonna lose her, and it's not a small thing. That's not a small thing. And so I was like, no, dude, like no one's gonna make fun of you for that. But he was just like, yeah, no, she went through hell. He was telling how you were trying to get your rest, and then the doctors would come in like every 2 hours for something, and you were just like, no, man.
There's so many things that I try to block out, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right. So bad. It was so hard for me to fall asleep because it was so uncomfortable, that bed. I know it was uncomfortable for him on his little couch, but he was all right.
Those hospital beds are uncomfortable.
But it wasn't comfortable, but it also was so uncomfortable because I was in so much pain. Like I was in, like I said, I didn't have a baby until I went in to have the baby on Wednesday, and that was at noon. And then I had the baby Thursday night at 10 p.m. So, I mean, it was over a full day. And at first I got there and I'm like, oh, I got to get induced. I don't know if you know what that means.
I've heard that word.
Okay. So
can you explain that?
That's another thing too, is a lot of women are like, oh, get induced. It's the best because then you don't have to be pregnant as long. They put you into labor so you have the baby sooner. And once you're really pregnant, you don't want to be pregnant anymore. You're miserable. I know for me, I was miserable. You have to pee every 30 minutes. You can't get a full night's sleep. That's why it's funny. People are always like, sleep while you can while you're pregnant because you won't when the baby's here. I'm like, I'll tell those women, yes, you can. You'll sleep more with that baby's here than you do
if you have
pregnant.
Olivia. Yes, you will.
Oh my gosh, every 30 minutes, I just couldn't do it. Even if she was not a good sleeper, I still would have gotten better sleep because you have help. You have someone else who can take the baby. But when you're pregnant, no one else can take that. Like it's just you.
Can't strap it out.
I can't just, and I was not going to wear diapers. So yeah, every 30 minutes. It was awful. So I went in for a checkup at my doctor's office. It was the day before my due date. And she was like, well, your fluids are a little low, which I still don't really know what that means. But I was like, okay. And she's like, well, we'll just go ahead and medically induce you. And I'm like, oh, I have a reason to be induced. How fun. I'm not just choosing it. Because apparently if you get induced too early, you can have complications. There's just things that like, it is recommended by your doctor, but then it's like, not recommended by your doctor.
That's weird.
There's so many different hearsay and opinions that you get, because apparently being induced back in the day wasn't a good idea, but now it's more popular. So then you hear people in your ear about everything. So I was like, well, I'll get induced if I have to, but if not, I'll just let it naturally come, even if it's like 2 weeks after. So got medically induced the day before, and I'm like, we're so excited going to the hospital. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have a baby. So fun. And I didn't have to go in all in pain. It was great. And so my body was not ready to have a baby yet. Like Olivia was not ready to come out. She was happy in her little tomb up there. And it took a long time for things to progress and happen. And then finally I had her, and it was just a lot of pain for a long time. And I couldn't sleep, and they would come in every like hour and inject me with this and check this and do this and that. And
I mean, are you fine with going into details about it, or you don't want to? It's up to you.
I don't want to go into too many details.
Okay.
It's
well, I'll say this.
It's just kind of gross. It's just things that people don't usually want to hear about.
I think it's real and authentic, but like if you don't want to, I want to make you comfortable. If you don't want to,
you're okay.
But you can if
you're okay. It's just there's a lot of things with having a baby, and things have to kind of progress along, and things have to open up, and sometimes they don't, and it takes a while. And first they gave me like a pill to take, and the pill was fine. I didn't feel anything from taking a pill, but the pill was a problem. So once the pill's in there, they can't do anything about it to get it out. And apparently the pill was causing what they call contractions. Every time a contraction happens, the baby can't breathe. So it sounds really scary, but they're natural. You've heard contractions, I'm sure. Contractions come within like a certain frame of time, and the shorter they are, the more you're probably gonna have a baby sooner. But with mine, they were happening more often than they would have liked, but nothing was progressing. And so it just meant every time it happened, she couldn't breathe, and nothing else was happening in the process.
So when a woman has contraction,
it tightens up.
Okay, so for that brief period, the baby can't breathe?
Yep.
That is some
scary. And so I didn't know that ahead of time. And so they told me that. And I was like freaking out. And I'm like, my baby can't breathe. They're okay. You're okay. You're okay. And I'm like, you have to start with that. You can't just say my baby can't breathe.
Yeah, I feel like ignorance is bliss.
And the whole time I'm hooked up to a monitor. So I can't move. If I have to go to the bathroom, which I told you every 30 minutes, you remember this. So I'd have to get up and bring my whole thing with me.
Oh, no.
I had to bring my monitor with me.
Oh, so you were one of those patients.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My hospital gown, the whole setup. It looks so good. Let me tell you, we did bring our Fire Stick, so we watched Hamilton during it.
Hey, nice.
It was Hamilton kick, Do you like Hamilton?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Hamilton. Anyways, but I'm bringing the whole thing with me. Go to the bathroom. I was like, Michael, you gotta help me. I don't know what I'm doing. And I didn't want to be the one of those people that called the nurse every 10 seconds for anything I needed. I'm like, I'm not that person. I can do it. But then there were things that happened, and I was like, what's going on here? I don't understand. And then I start crying because of hormones, and I'm just a raging ball of mess. So Michael was always the one to call the nurse. He's like, please come in. I don't know how to help my wife. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm in pain. This hurts. Like, okay, that's normal. So then the pill, like I said, didn't work. So then they tried like this whole insertion of something, and that was one of the most painful things I've ever gone through. It was worse than delivering the baby, because I got an epidural. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's a shot that they put into your spine, and it numbs your entire lower half. So once you do that, you can't move. So like if I had to go to the bathroom, they hooked me up to an IV, and I just, threw a bag. I wasn't able to move my legs. So it's great for when you're in active labor because you can't feel anything happening down there. And then when you're delivering the baby, you can't feel it. And a lot of women can't get an epidural. Like there's something like they don't have a good reaction to it, or it doesn't work. I was very thankful that mine did. And I took the epidural and I actually fell asleep. I was comfortable. It was wonderful. I love epidurals. I can't say enough good things about them. And then I had the baby within an hour after the epidural. Like Michael was taking a bath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
At the hospital?
Yes, we had a huge jacuzzi tub. I could only use it one time because I told you I was hooked up to this thing, so I couldn't use it. I was really sad about that. I was ready. I was ready for that jacuzzi tub. I was so excited about it. And Michael was too. We're like, yeah, here we go. It's like a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a vacation.
Strap from the machine.
And I couldn't use it, but I was like, no problem, honey. You go use it. Please use it for the both of us. You enjoy yourself. And so I was like, honey, we're going to have a baby. It's like right there. We're like 1 centimeter away. It's happening. And the doctor's like, oh yeah, within the next 10 minutes, you're going to have a baby. And I'm like, Michael, come back. You're going to have a baby.
Just pampering
you got to be here. Yeah.
you know?
Oh my God. So we got out. And then we had the baby, and it was crazy. I pushed for like a minute. She came out. It was great. A lot of women push for 3+ hours.
Yeah, no, I've heard things like
But
that.
everyone has their own experience. Like no two stories will ever be the same with childbirth. And I'm thankful for certain parts of my journey. But then I would, if anyone asked me, do you recommend like getting induced? I would tell them, no, absolutely not. Like let it be natural. But unless you have to, like medically. But I don't know anyone who got induced and actually had a good experience from it. Because like if your body's not ready, it's all this extra stuff they have to do for you.
Do you know what your sister Kim, did she get induced?
She did not get induced. The whole classic water breaking, all that kind of stuff. You know from Hollywood, all the things that happen. Oh, that's another one. I gotta tell you, that's one from Hollywood too. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't just gush out on the ground. Mm-hmm. Because I know you've seen that.
Like the water breaking.
It's like, oh, so dramatic.
Oh, your water broke. It's like,
they're in public and the water broke. No, it's not like that.
No.
It's like apparently it's like a little like trickling that happens. Nothing dramatic at all.
Oh, okay.
It's like you just like wet yourself. And it like you don't even, sometimes you think you peed. And it was not.
Do they do that? Do you think they do that in Hollywood just for dramatic effect? Like, oh my God.
Yes, 100%. Yes. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, where is it going to happen?
Yeah,
like, what if I'm like,
kind of explosion?
I went back to work for a little while, then I had to quarantine. So I got off 2 weeks early and I literally worked for only a month. It was great.
Yeah.
Because when you're that pregnant and your feet are that swollen, and my job is retail, so I'm on my feet the whole shift. Like I can't just sit.
Your feet are already swollen, plus you got to be on your feet.
My store was super supportive, and they were like, "Look, if you ever need to sit down," I'm like, sure do. Got to put my legs up. Got to elevate them. Like I can't. I'm not a good employee right now. I can't lift boxes. I can't do anything for you guys.
You should just like
I
get
can't
a
even be
wheelchair.
around customers because of COVID. So I'm like, I keep my distance. Because here's the thing too. If I got COVID while I was, having the baby, Michael couldn't be in the room with me. I would have been alone, which is really depressing because they check you. They checked me when I got there for COVID.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have been able to be there with me. I'd have to be alone. I'd have to wear a mask the whole time, which I didn't. So thank the Lord for that. But, and I would have had the option to keep Olivia and possibly get her sick or not. Like have her taken away from me, and I wouldn't have her until I didn't have COVID anymore. Isn't that so depressing?
That is, yeah.
And I was like, how can I not hold my baby after I deliver her? Like, how can I not? And I'm like, but I wouldn't want to get her sick. Like, how can I? And I'm like, I can't go into this frame of mind about what I would do. So I'm like, I just need to not get COVID.
But at the hospital, I guess they had testing equipment where you found out.
It was the rapid one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was in labor forever. So I probably would have been done COVID by the time I delivered her anyway. That's what it felt like. But yeah, I'm very thankful for the experience I had because it could have been so much worse. And I know it wasn't the best, but it's a story now.
It's a story.
It's a story.
I was about to say that. Yeah. So like, I have two questions from that. One being, okay, from the epidural. Okay, because something weird Mike told me was like, I think the doctor said, I could be butchering this and I'll have him on the show. He'll explain it. But from what I remember, he was saying that like the doctor went up to him and is like, you have one job as the husband, and that is to keep her away from the epidural. But then I hear this great thing about like, it numbs you and all that stuff.
I don't know anything about that.
If it goes well. Like I feel like I'm getting it right. I could be missing something wrong.
See, I knew from the get-go I was getting an epidural. I mean, there are some moms out there who are just rock stars and want the whole natural labor. Mm-hmm. No drugs of any sort. I said, give me all the drugs and give me the epidural. I need everything. I want to feel as good as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Just get this baby out of me. I don't care what it takes, but make me feel good.
Yeah.
Give me the drugs. I don't care. My mom was the opposite. She, I'm sure you'll ask her when you interview her, but she wanted a natural birth more than anything with both my sister and me. I was cesarean, so of course not natural labor. So was Michael. Both of us were C-section babies. But I was breech. I was facing the wrong way. So my head was up here. My legs were down. My butt was actually down here. So they now there's ways that they can turn the baby.
Oh, really?
If they can. Actually, when I was in active labor with Olivia, she was she wasn't breech, but she was turned. Luckily, her head was down there, but she was turned the opposite way. It's best if the baby is facing this way, like their head's this way, but she was facing the other way, which like when they go down, it's so complicated. So it's like best if she turns one way. But if you're in labor while the baby is facing one way, you get back pain. I'm sure you didn't know that.
Nope.
I didn't know that before. And they were like, well, obviously the baby's in the right position to begin with. That's the best kind of labor you're going to have. It's a lot less painful. I had all the back labor, so it was horrible. And they do say that can cause back pain down the line. So nothing you can do about it. Yeah. But like, luckily she ended up turning on her own. That can happen too. Yep. She turned on her own. And so it was easy to just push her out. But it's like if baby's not in the right position, they have to go in, surgically and remove it. And then my sister was born on Christmas Day.
Hey,
yeah, Christmas baby. And she was born at night, and the doctor wanted to get out of there. So he pushed my mom into getting an epidural and drugs and everything and said, you're not going to have a natural. We're going to make this as fast as possible.
What a dick. I'm sorry.
He's like, I have a family at home. I want to go home. It's Christmas Day. Mom's like, well, I don't want to have a baby today. Yeah. Can we push it to tomorrow? Like, if they... No.
It's like, dude, you're a doctor, okay?
I don't have a baby on the 26th. Like, can we... Nope. Yeah, wow. So my mom didn't have the best story, unfortunately.
Yeah, I want to go home. It's Christmas Day.
I know.
Like...
I know. I know.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I mean,
it's
irrelevant, but do you know if the doctor was a dude or a chick?
Oh, it was an older man.
Older, even more. Like you have no right.
He wasn't even the doctor my mom wanted. He was just the one that was on call that night. Yep.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I'm not the one that went to school for like 10 years to be a doctor, and I didn't make the schedule, so suck it up.
So bad.
Wow.
I know.
Where do you get off? So the other question I had is, so that term when you hear people say, oh, I was in labor for like 24 hours. Okay, this is what I think of when I hear that, is that the woman is just bare knuckle, constantly pushing. So what does that mean?
There's phases of labor. So it's like I think they categorize as like a 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. So the first stage of labor is like you're in just a little bit of pain. It's not too bad. Like a little bit of cramping. It's almost like a woman with her period. Like it's not anything. I mean, some women have really bad periods, and cramps with it. But for the most part, it's nothing too bad. But you know something is coming. 2 is quite a bit of pain. Mm-hmm. And, it's not bare knuckles, but you do need to find different positions, and it's best if you rub the back, and there's different ways to try to alleviate the pain, and drugs are good for that too. And then there's the third, which is called active labor. So that is when the baby is just about to push its way out of you. So it is one of the worst pains to ever go through. But luckily, active labor does not last very long. So I wasn't in active labor for long at all. I was in active labor during my epidural, or right before my epidural. I didn't even know I was even able to get an epidural. I was told I had to wait until I was 5 centimeters, what they call dilated. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't yet. And then the doctor came in and she was like, oh, do you want to get an epidural? And I was like, and Michael was like, you can get an epidural? And I'm like, I can get an epidural. And I'm like, yes. I was just overjoyed. I'm like, yes, give me the drugs. I don't want to feel this pain. And Michael's like, I don't want her to feel this pain. And
yeah, I was about to say, if I'm getting the story so right,
hard for
they told him oh, try your best to keep her off it. Did he try to be like, oh, no, baby, you were almost there? No.
Oh, no.
I mean, again,
he knew that. For what, he doesn't like to see me in pain. He has a really hard time with it, because who would? Yeah, exactly. And it's my body, my choice, and he knows that. If I didn't want an epidural, he would never push it on me. If I did, he would never stop me. So
no. I hear. I mean, again,
and men shouldn't. Sorry,
but see,
don't do that.
I agree in that sense.
The woman is the one going through everything.
That's. I get it if there are some harmful side effects. I get it, but if I don't know, I'm pretty sure they have some medical way where, you know, it's like, okay, you're good. You don't have any complicated medical history kind of stuff. It's like the epidural, before they give it to you, they would know if you're cleared for it, right? I guess.
No.
No? Oh, okay. Never
No.
mind. Then I'm going to shut
No,
up.
unless you're allergic to something that's in the epidural.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because
Would
they'll
they
ask
know,
you ahead of time all your allergies and that kind of
okay,
stuff.
yeah, that's what I mean.
But some people do have a bad reaction and you have no idea until you have it. Yeah.
Never mind. Because I was thinking that, you know, they'll try to minimize that. Like, they'll try to know a little bit about your medical history before, like that, like what you're allergic
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
So
Big time.
after that, if like, again, being ignorant, I'm thinking, oh, okay, they know that you're clear, and then the doctor still tells them, it's like, hey, your job is to keep her away from it. I'm like, wait, but
No.
she's cleared for it, and it does these wonderful things. I'm gonna give it. No, if she can
If
take
she
it, she'll
wants
take
it, let her have
right,
it. If she
right?
doesn't want it, then don't push it on her. Like
Yeah.
it's the woman's decision.
I mean, it's yeah, no,
period.
you're right. You're
The
absolutely
one
right.
going
And
through all of that.
I mean, I get it. Like me, I'm terrified of needles. Like, and so if I was a woman, I'd be like,
That
I
was
don't
the
know.
most beautiful thing in my entire.
But I get it where, you know, you weigh the pros and cons. It's like, hey, if you take it, this big needle in your spine, and everything goes well, you won't feel it, or you're gonna feel a lot of pain. Knowing me, if I was a woman, I don't know, I'd probably flip a coin. But
Pretend like you broke your arm.
Huh?
Pretend like you broke your arm.
I broke my foot.
Okay, so you know that pain.
Yeah, and
You know that
realized
pain
it.
when it first happened.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with someone putting a needle in your back if a minute would go away? Okay, pretend.
No, not really.
Pretend like you broke your foot and someone stuck a hammer on it.
Because I'm already thinking like I'm in pain and I don't want more pain.
No, it's not pain.
But that's what I'm thinking. No, listen, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that's what I'm thinking.
And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. I just loved it. I'm obsessed with it. I can't say enough good things about it. But it's funny too because when the guy came in to give me my epidural, he told me I was the happiest person he maybe has ever met to get this crazy shot. And I was like, really? Okay. But I was just overjoyed. And he's like, you're so happy. And I'm like, you're about to give me the greatest thing in the world. I'm ready for this. I'm in so much pain. Make it go away. Yes, of course I'm happy to see you.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't every client be like you? Like, I don't know.
No.
I'm just so happy. Yes.
So, I mean, we kind of touched on this. One of my questions is there anything that you discovered about being a mother that no one prepared you for? We kind of briefly touched on some stuff, but if there's anything you want to, like, once again mention.
I mean, everything. Everything. Just because every baby's different and every mom's different and everyone's style of parenting is different. So, like, there's no advice that, like, you can really give someone before they're in the moment.
Yeah.
It's just like while it's happening that you.
But what's again, like, what's one thing that you discovered though? Like, oh, I didn't know about this. Like, especially when you went to your birthing class, like, you know, oh, hey, I didn't know about this. Everything.
Yeah.
I imagine so.
Breastfeeding. That's a big one. That's a big one. Because it just makes it seem like it's so easy, but it's not easy for everybody.
Okay. You know what? That's so true because, again, I only know from TV shows. But what's hard about it? You know,
well,
not saying that it's easy. No,
it depends on the baby, but my baby, like I said, was in the nursery for so long because I had so many complications. So she had a hard time, like, actually latching. You talked about latching. That was really hard for her, and it was still hard for her. And she does plot twist. Spoiler alert, sorry. Not plot twist. There's no plot twist here. She still doesn't. Like, it's not for her. So that's okay. It was kind of accepting that and, like, learning to stop trying because it just upset her. Like, she'd cry. Because I even took her to, like, a specialist to make sure she didn't have, like, something wrong with her tongue where it was like, you know, like what they call tongue tie, where it's like an extra little cartilage underneath that needs to be clipped, which sounds terrifying, but it helps the baby. It helps her speech. Like, so many things later on in life that's going to help them. And she didn't have a problem with that. She just had a really short tongue, is what they said, and a narrow palate. So, like, it's just a lot of extra strength she has to do to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
So that was hard, really hard for me because everyone around me did that. It was no problem for them. Their baby latched, or my sister apparently didn't when she was a baby, but my mom got through it and figured it out. And I was like, I still couldn't do it. And I'm just like, what's wrong with me? It wasn't my baby. I never put blame on my baby. It was always me. What am I not doing right? What am I not trying differently? I even took a class. Like, I did so many things trying to figure out. Went to 3 different specialists. Like, I just couldn't get it. And it wasn't me. It was her. And there was nothing wrong with her. Like, she's perfect. So it's just lowering the expectations of what is expected.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, no baby is the same, and it's going to be hard. There's going to be problems somewhere down the line. Overall, I feel very blessed because she has such a good baby. I'm like, that's the only, that's like I look back, I'm like, that's the one thing that I'm not necessarily I would change, but like, it was just so different from me than most people go through.
No, I was talking to Michael a couple of days ago and kind of going back from what you were saying, how, oh, your life's going to change. And it's like, we're still waiting.
We're still waiting, right?
So, yeah, no, I called him just to, catch up a little bit. I was like, yo, how's the family? He was joking around going like, oh, man, being a dad is tough, man. I'm having some bad days. And I was like, oh, wow. It went from being easy to not anymore. He was like, no, I'm just joking. This is the easiest thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
I mean... yeah, I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing. You're still raising a human.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he was just for dramatic effect.
But I mean, he'll tell you this too. The dad is very important, but it's not the mom.
Wait, what? No way. Huh?
But he's not the mom. Like, there's just, when I get home from work, I work 40 hours a week. So I'm there all the time. When I get home from work and Olivia's still awake, I'm the one to put her to bed. I'm the one to, I go to her and I hold her. I spend the rest of my time with her until she goes to sleep. Like, I don't leave her. I spend my time with her. And he's different, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's just normal for most men. My mom and I were just talking about that. It was just like, it's so natural for me to just spend all my time with her that I can. Like, my days, well, his days off, he's with her too. But like, I need her. Like, I like breathe her. She's just a part of me. Like, I get sick to my stomach when I don't put her to bed because that's just what I want to do. And I'm actually very thankful that he kind of gives me the reins to be able to do that, because it just makes me feel
this was worth it.
It just makes me feel wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel like complete. I get I don't put her to bed every night because a lot of times I close at my store and I'm there till 9:30 and I don't get home till 10:30. So she better be asleep before I get home. I was just really sad to keep her awake just because of me. Like, I'm not going to be selfish like that. And I don't think she would last, but I miss her and I love her. Like, being away from her right now makes me sad. But not really. Like, I also love, adult interactions.
Yeah.
It's so healthy. It's so great. And it's okay. It's okay.
I watched too many TV shows and movies. Like, this scene just popped into my head. Did you ever watch The Office?
I did, but one time throughout. I need to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good show. But there was a scene with Pam when like she just had her baby, and Jim just finished work and he wanted to go home to her and just, it'd be the 3 of them, and the group was going out to like a bar or something, and he was like, oh, I'll call Pam if she wants to, thinking like, oh, she's gonna say no, which he doesn't want to spend time with his coworkers. And then you just hear Pam on the phone going, hey, Pam, do you want to go to the bar with our friends? And she's like, yes, I want to interact. Like,
yeah, I understand that. If I never got to like get out and have a job outside of my home, I would feel the exact same way. I'm sure.
Shoot, I don't even have kids with COVID.
COVID.
And you know me, I'm a people person. I was like, yo, I want to hang out with like the world. Come on. So that sucked. That sucked for all extroverts.
Yes.
But now we're getting back to normal, so that's awesome.
We're trying.
We're there. I don't give a but anyways. Oh, I'm so sorry. Dang, I'll put that out.
You did it.
I'll bleep that out.
You did it. No, you got to keep it now.
No, I'll bleep it out.
I don't know how, sound effect.
I was to myself a little bit. I got too relaxed.
That's okay.
That's
Get too excited.
I do, yeah. What advice would you give to some mom, a man and a woman right now before their parents? Like something, because you were not a mom, 11 months ago? Now you are. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to someone? It could be cliche. I don't care.
I mean, it's okay to not feel okay.
Hey.
It's super cliche, but like it is, because a mom guilt is a real thing. It really, really is.
No, I like how you said earlier that people don't talk about that often, but it's good to share it. Say, listen, it is okay. Yeah. It's a serious thing.
My mom to this day is the most selfless person I've ever met. Like, I remember growing up, she would do everything for us before she would do anything for herself. And I told myself I was not going to be that way, because like, I'm 30. I've had plenty of time to kind of be selfish and do my own thing. And there's certain things that I want for me and I like to keep doing. Like, I love subscription boxes. FabFitFun. It's so good. I love pampering myself and all that kind of stuff. And I still do it. I still have time to do all that. And it like gives me extra fulfillment. And I'm not going to take that away from myself. And there are, of course, there's times where I'm like, oh, I should use that money towards something for her. But I'm like, oh, she has so much. Oh, but I really shouldn't use it for me. It's a real thing. It's a really, I have to kind of stop myself sometimes. I'm like, do I need that? It's for me. It doesn't help her. Like, it's so weird how much my perception changed after having a baby. And then it's like all the time I have. Time is the most precious thing in the entire world now.
Yeah.
It's something that I never really realized before. Like, how has 10 months already gone by? Like, how is she already here? Like,
I felt like a baby sat her
almost a year, like
3 months ago.
Yeah. It's insane how quickly it's gone. And I just like, I can't get enough of her. So it's also like, it's okay to not be okay. So where, if you have to break down, break down. If you need to talk to someone about something, talk to someone about something. Especially with all the hormones right after your baby. It's just like, these things are normal. And it's okay to have a different reaction than someone else does about this. And also, one of the biggest ones too is just be present in the moment. I am obsessed with just playing with my daughter and being with her and spending time with her. And my priorities are her, and then me time, because I need to just kind of go home and forget about the day and just kind of have my time. I've always been that way. I'm an extroverted introvert. I really am. I have to be just me. And so I'm like, I kind of need to like deflect from the day and just do my own thing. And that usually involves like sitting on the couch and watching TV and eating a snack, or just like things that do not involve cooking or cleaning. Cleaning comes like close to last. I need to have you at my house. Come clean my house because you're so good at cleaning.
It's so therapeutic.
You'll be my chef and my maid.
It's therapeutic sometimes, especially when you have a stressful day.
I wish it was for me.
You don't get that feeling?
Was for me. No, it's just an extra chore I have to do. I wish it was therapeutic for me. How do I get there?
I don't know, honestly. Like, okay, like this is gonna sound weird, but this is what I do. Like, no filler. For cooking, you ever hear that thing? It's like, oh, I'll cook, you clean, kind of thing. I don't like if I cook, let me clean, because this is what I do. I put in my earphones. I'll listen to music or a podcast, and I just go to town. I just clean. I don't know what it is, but it just if I don't have music or a podcast, something I like,
I do that
listening.
Too. Yep.
Then no, it's horrible. Yeah. It's a chore. Okay. But if I'm listening to something I enjoy, I don't know. It doesn't feel like work. It just it feels natural. And then also cleaning my room and all that stuff is just like, or cleaning around my space is just especially the studio, like I'll clean before I have my guests over, and once it's clean you just get that like rewarding feeling like, all right, perfect, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I don't know, it just feels good. And then also it gives you, like, I'm a night owl too, and I find it that if I'm productive and I clean, especially throughout the day and stuff, and then I sit down and relax, it feels deserved. It feels rewarding.
Mm.
And then I actually go to bed at a reasonable hour because I'm kind of tired. I was like, I was
Look
productive.
at you, Mr. Healthy.
Dude, not really. Like, because normally I'll go to bed, like, I work at a restaurant. I get home around 11:30 on average, and I
That's
honestly
late.
won't go to bed till like 3 a.m.
Oh my
Yeah, it's,
God. Okay.
and then I
Well,
wake up. I'll kind of decent. Like, I'll wake up at like 10. I'll get like 7 hours or 9. Especially if I'm gonna go ride my bike or something. But oh man, it's just. But on my days off, I try to be productive. I try to clean, and then I'll go to bed at like 10, 11. Good time. Wake up at like 8, 9. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's just, I didn't clean when I lived with my parents. I didn't clean, like, I was just whatever. But when I got my own place, I started taking more responsibility.
I
And
know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It just, I end up finding like,
I just can't find the time. I
yeah.
can't find the time.
No, if I'm in your shoes,
It's
if
so
I
frustrating.
have a little Olivia too, I feel like I'm gonna be, even though I'll be the dad, I feel like I'm gonna get there where I'm like, oh, I don't have time,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But here's the thing that, but the advice people give me is that, it doesn't matter. Guess what? Housework will always be there, but your baby won't. Your
Hmm.
baby won't always be a baby. And I wish this baby phase was at least 2 years. Like, I hate the fact that it's just flying past.
It's so
I
weird.
hate
I was
it.
telling
I
Mrs.
can't get
Lanier about that. It's
enough
like
of it.
time flies.
Can't get enough of it. And I'm really excited for what's to come and what's going to happen after. And like when she's actually able to start talking and singing and dancing and just all the cute little things she's going to do. Take her to Disney World, all the things.
Oh, you're good.
I got excited too.
I get
But
excited.
take her to Disney World, all the fun things.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm excited for what's gonna come. But
Yeah.
I'm just
You're trying to enjoy the moment.
enjoy the moment. Yep. It's like try not to worry about all the other little things that just don't matter.
Good. That's awesome. Well, Alyssa did about an hour and a half.
Oh my
It's
God, it's
awesome.
been that long.
Did it feel like that?
No.
No,
No.
like, I'm glad.
You're my
But-
friend though, so it's just conversation,
Yeah, that's all it is. No, Alyssa, again, thank you so much for being here. And I know Mother's Day was weeks ago, but happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, I got you a little something.
You got me something. You're
I
so
got
sweet.
every mom something.
Oh, it's bubble wrap. Your favorite. You can keep the bubble wrap.
Yes, thank you. There you are.
Oh, so cute. Super mom, super wife, super tired. That's so cute.
Oh,
I love
bubble wrap.
this.
Okay,
and
I'm
I
gonna do that.
love coffee, so that is perfect.
Yeah, no,
That's what gets me
you
through.
have a bigger mug collection than I. So yeah.
My good Keurig machine for my in-laws. That's the reason I'm able to function the way I am.
I like
It
old
makes-
school. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
But it
I
makes
thought
my
about
coffee
getting a Keurig.
instantly. Like it brews it, I press the button and it's brewing.
No, and it's,
At the
a
time.
good amount and all that stuff, but I like old school. I like scooping it in. I like portion control, and I like dark coffee too, so I like to make it even darker.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, Alyssa, unless there's anything else you want to say.
I mean, not really. It
Yeah.
was so fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. And we're gonna have you on, you ever want to talk about something, it's like, hey, let me come on your show and I want to talk about, I'll be like, all right, let's pencil you in. So no, real quick, like I'm
I
gonna
can't
toot
let
my
her
own.
talk to you all about labor and delivery and
Like, I care. That's awesome. But it's funny. I'm really happy that this mother's, especially I hope your mom comes on next week, but I would love to talk to her. And this Mother's Day special was a hit. Everybody I've talked to really enjoyed it. And I can't wait for Father's Day special. I can't wait to do that, interview all the dads and stuff. But yeah, this was amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing all the stories. And trust me, like we're gonna look back at this years, especially when Olivia gets a little older. It's like, oh hey, look at this. Look what I said when you were just a little baby.
Olivia, look how much I'm embarrassing you right now.
Good.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's another thing.
What?
I can't wait to embarrass my child the way my mom did.
Yeah.
My mom was the ultimate embarrasser. Can I tell you a story before?
Yes.
So we went to Disney World. My life is Disney, I know. But
what if, real quick, what if she like, Mom, I don't like Disney?
I knew you were going to ask that question. I was ready for it. I knew you were going to ask it. Like, I know he's going to ask me because everybody does. And most children love Disney because it's so magical and it's a theme park and it's fun.
Yeah.
And she'll love it. But when she gets a little older and she decides she doesn't like it, then I'll support her. I'll still go by myself.
There you go.
Look, you can stay home and I'm going to go to Disney. So you choose.
All right. I got us 2 tickets. Never mind.
You choose. I'm going to go by myself.
There
and,
you go.
I'll probably have more fun. So, but either way,
it's a funny story.
So it's a funny story. So my mom is all about embarrassing, or was all about embarrassing me and Kim growing up. And we were at Epcot. And I was at that age, I think I was 16, maybe 16, 18, I don't know. But an age where like you don't want to be around your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like your mom is not cool. You're way cooler than they are. It's not true. But at that age, nothing like we went through World Showcase and we're going through the countries and my mom's obsessed with the UK and she's like, oh my gosh, we have got to go to UK. And we're like running around and she's like, British Invasion, we gotta go to the British Invasion. So British Invasion was like this band that was singing like Beatles cover songs and Herman's Hermits, and probably never heard of them, but that's okay. We love them. And they would play every 2 hours. And my mom like knew what time they were gonna play. She's like, oh, we're gonna be late. British Invasion, British Invasion. She's like scream. And she's like running across the park. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Who cares about the British Invasion? We already watched them twice. She's like, that's why we're here. British Invasion. I'm like, why? We've already seen them. I would rather look at this. And she's like, no, British Invasion. And my sister is cracking up because she's at an age where she can start appreciating my mom. And I'm just like so embarrassed. I'm like falling on the ground, like with my hand over my face, like nobody look at me. Who cares? Who cares? I can't wait to embarrass her one day, but
there you go.
It's the best looking back on it. Like I appreciate so many things about my mom that I never ever did before or never really thought to. So yeah, it's fun.
There you go. It's something to look forward to. So now when Olivia sees this, she's going to be like, oh no, it's already happening.
No, it's so bad.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Alyssa,
Okay.
Once again, thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day. And look
Thank
forward to hanging out with you on camera and off the camera. So
Sounds good.
all right.
Oh. Thank you. Sorry, this whole setup.
No, yeah, it's a long table. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care.